Tonight's the return of the Vintage Horror Night right here on the Vintage Horror Show. We do it all tonight. We eat a delicious man meal. We watch a beautiful vintage horror movie on VHS tape. We even have another contest, another giveaway. Stay tuned. During the cooking portion of tonight's video, we're going to talk about how you can win a couple of vintage 80s horror movies on VHS, courtesy of my friend Todd Burrett. All that and much, much more tonight on the Vintage Horror Show. And it starts about right now.
The new 80s revolution presents VHS Vintage Horror Show. Feast the food, fear the horror. The horror of a man cooking all by himself. Jason will prepare a delicious man meal. Not that Jason. And review classic horror films. Some awesome, some cheesy, some you will think, how did this even get made? Hosted by Jason. And now, directly from the cave, the one and the only Jason Nutt.
Oh, that's a beautiful intro, ladies and gentlemen. That is a quality intro. And that intro was brought to you by none other than my pal, the Smash Ventura. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk a whole lot about Smash Ventura in the future, but Smash Ventura is responsible for that beautiful intro as he resurrects the Vintage Horror Night right here on the Vintage Horror Show. It's been a while. It has been a while since we've come down here in the horror cave and hung out together. What is Vintage Horror Night? If you don't remember, it's when you and I, it's when I and you come down here into the cave and we sit back and we put our feet up and we turn out the lights and we watch a vintage horror movie. The only way, the true way to enjoy these kinds of movies is on VHS. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We pop in the VCR. We pop the tape in the VCR. We crank it up. We get the crank going on the VCR. It powers up. We slide in the tape and we sit back and we watch a Vintage Horror Night. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, we leave the cave and we go upstairs to the New 80s Revolution kitchen and we prepare a delicious man meal together. We prepare a delicious bachelor meal. We prepare a college dorm room meal that only I can enjoy. When the children go away, when their mother goes away, I get to eat my style, right? And you're going to join me. And we're going to talk. We're going to sit at the dining room table and we're just going to talk. We're going to have some dinner chat. We're going to drink a delicious, tasty beverage from the beer family. And then, as we dab the corners of our mouth with a napkin, we wrap it up. And we come back down here and the fun begins. We sit and we watch a movie. What are we watching tonight, ladies and gentlemen? That's a good question. We're going to talk about the movie and we're going to talk about the menu. The movie tonight. I don't know if you guys are good at picking up clues, you know? Do you know the movie? Guys, we're going to go, we're going to cover we're going to cover the spectrum of horror, okay? It's not always going to be mainstream horror, but you know me, you know the New 80s Revolution. I'm more of a mainstream guy. And last time we watched Sleepaway Camp. But I figured tonight, you know what? Let's keep it mainstream. You know, let's go with, man, the second OG, right, of the horror world. I know, people came first, but in my life, in my world, Freddy Krueger is a very close second to Jason Voorhees. But Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street was another movie that I saw at a very young age. This was 84. And I'm pretty sure I saw this around 85 or 86. So it was very early. You know, I was probably 9 or 10 when I first watched this movie. And this is it. This is hands down the best movie of the franchise. This is the best movie of a lot of horror franchises. And we're going to kick back tonight and we're going to watch, unfortunately, the digitally remastered version of Nightmare on Elm Street. And we'll talk about it together. And I got a few little surprises. You know, I've added a few new touches to Vintage Horror Night. We're going to be taking a look at some stills from the movie. And if I can get away with it, I'm going to run my favorite scene of the movie. I mean, we're going to kill the audio, and I'm probably going to talk over it and ruin it. But I'm going to try, and if it gets pulled, then you'll never see this, and it doesn't matter. But we'll try. We'll try to add some new touches to Vintage Horror Night. But remember, the unique part of what we're doing here is we're going to go upstairs and eat. And what is on the menu, guys? We talked about it. I told you what's on the menu. We are going to take the camera out of the cave and out of the kitchen. In fact, we're going to get out of the house. And we're going to sit in the garage together, you and I. We're going to fire up the grill. And we're going to throw a piece of beef on that grill. The top tier, we're going to put the filet mignon on that grill. The filet mignon is going on the grill. Filet mignon, as I like to call it, filet mignon. The filet mignon is going on the grill. And we're going to cook up that bad boy. We're going to drink together. We're going to talk about my favorite side. My favorite side dish when I have filet mignon. It's not cream spinach. No. It's not a baked potato. Of course not. This is man eating. This is bachelor eating. This is the kids have gone to sleep eating. My favorite side for filet mignon is Doritos. All right, guys, we are upstairs. It is time to prep another bachelor dad man meal at like 10 o'clock at night. The grill is firing up in the garage. It's getting a nice heat going. That grill is ready for us. But first, we are going to prepare this beautiful, beautiful piece of filet mignon. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I promised you top shelf beef tonight. And top shelf beef is what you're going to get. How do we prepare it? Real simple. Salt and pepper, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of pepper. And sea salt. Yeah. If you put enough sea salt on there, you're going to get a crust. You're going to get a sea salt crust. We're going to flip it over. We're going to hit it again. This is going to be a nicely peppery, crusty, a nice salt crust on here. This is going to be all right. Roll some of the sides there too. Look at that. Look at that peppery, salty goodness right there on that crust. It's going to form a crust. And for beverage, because see, the children all upstairs sleeping. Took a little while to get them to sleep tonight. And Liam did say something about sneaking down here and trying to be a part of this, but no, we're not going to have that. I got one piece of steak, and it's mine. Tonight, we are drinking something kind of special. We have a little local ice cream franchise company in town called Abbott's. And they make a soft custard. And one of their famous ice cream flavors is chocolate almond custard. And what they did was they made a chocolate almond custard stout. And I have been looking all over for it. And I was able to find it tonight. And I want to like it. I do. I want to like it. But I don't. Because it's really, really thick and really sweet. And yeah, it tastes like chocolate almond ice cream, but I mean, this is hard to, it's kind of like a dessert beer. But anyway, grill's fired up. Let's get these steaks on. All right, we are out here in the dead of night, and it's time to fire up the old grill and grab this piece of delicious prime cut filet mignon, and boom, slap them down right there on that grill and let that thing just char up on one side. That's right. That's how we do it. And you know, I did say that we were going to do this alone tonight, but I heard the tiny little footsteps coming down the stairs, and we have a special guest for the garage cooking. It's none other than that guy over there, New 80s Revolution Jr. is in the house. That's right. We're down here. Whoa, that light is crazy. We're down here. We're in the garage at 10 o'clock at night, and we're going to fire up some filet mignon, and we're going to drink some of this almond ice cream beer. Good, it's tough to choke down. And Liam's got his lime sparkling water there. And yeah, let's let this steak do its thing, and then we'll bring it in the house, and I'll show you some of the side dishes I whipped up. All right, so I'll give you the quick garage tour. This this is pretty much the worst room in the house. There's absolutely no organization in this garage, and there's quads, and there's wheelbarrows, and there's bikes, and there's Liam coming up the driveway, and there's something that believe it or not, that is actually my workbench. Doesn't that look like a man's workbench right there? That's how you get stuff done right there. You know how many things I have built in that space that I have there? I mean, look at it. It is just begging to be worked on, isn't it? No, it isn't. Oh, what else we got here? You know, we got some representing the great country of Ireland and the Rochester Red Wings. And oh no.
I guess got home.
You still didn't go to bed.
I guess came home from my morning walk.
Your morning walk at 10 o'clock at night?
My night walk.
Yeah, your night walk.
See you guys.
Yeah, we'll see you later. Let's take a look at this this steak.
Got my scooter.
All right, it's you know, there. I haven't given it its first turn yet. See some. It's coming up. We got a little. I think we might be ready for a flip, guys. Let's try to do this left-handed. Yeah, the lighting out here is horrible. Let's see if I can do this without burning myself. There we go. That's decent char. Not as charred as I want. Not bad. And we'll let it keep going. We're going to have a good bloody piece of meat tonight, guys. We are back in the kitchen. I'll tell you what, the filming, the lighting in the garage, deplorable. Can't be used. Terrible lighting. Not good cooking down there in the garage. But I'll show you. We've got it. Our delicious meat is here. We got a nice pad of butter on top there. And we're not having any more of those Stone Yard drinks. I can promise you that. We're going to have this Corona sparkling seltzer water, which you know, can't seem to get enough of. Very good. All right, let me get the stuff ready here. All right. Now I told you that I had whipped up a delicious batch of sides. Let me show you what I got. One of my favorite man meal sides, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing compliments a piece of filet mignon like some Doritos. I wasn't kidding. Yeah. I'm soaking the butter in the steak juice. That's our meal, guys. Filet mignon on the nighttime grill with a hunk of butter on top and some delicious Doritos to go with it. Let's go eat. Come on. Here we are, guys. This is our, I can't wait to cut into this meat. It is vintage horror night. And tonight we eat and we go downstairs in the cave and we watch Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. I cannot wait. We take another sip of this Corona hard seltzer blackberry lime flavor. So much better than that that stouty chocolate almond stout. Not good, guys. I don't think you have to worry about it. It's pretty local. Let me dig into these sides first here. When you go to a nice steakhouse, you gotta ask. They won't put these on the menu. You gotta ask for Doritos when you go to the fancy steakhouses. My favorite side. Look at that butter. That butter getting all melty on that meat. Let's dig into this. Let's see if this thing is still mooing. Oh, is it ever? Oh my. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this. Take a look at that. Can you smell it? Can you smell it? Can you taste it? It's pink. It's got butter. It's got salt and pepper. And it's all mine. There's not a kid in sight. Do you remember that salt that I put on this thing? Talking about a salty crust with that juicy, salty butter. I'm gonna cut another piece. And again, I'm pretty thankful that it's just me down here. There ain't nobody else down here. Except my favorite steak sampler there is. My second favorite steak eater. William? You down here? William? Nope. All me. Can't talk. Last time we had hot dogs in a 99-cent rice packet. This time we're eating a piece of the finest meat I've ever crafted. I don't even know what to say. These sides are good. Oh, that steak was so good, and I was so involved with it, if you know what I mean. I got steak juice on my shirt. I got bloody, buttery steak juice on my shirt. So I had to change. So now we're down here. Our belly's full. Still got some steak remnants floating around my teeth. And it's time for the movie. But before that, I want to invite you to win another contest here on the channel. That's right. A good friend of mine, Todd Burritt, who you've heard me talk about before, he sets up at the Avon Flea Market here locally, and he's definitely helped add to the VHS collection. He's donated some videos, some retro 80s horror VHS tapes to the channel to give to you guys. So I don't know, if you want to enter, here's how you enter. Leave a comment. Leave a comment and mention the VHS contest. Leave a comment and mention the VHS contest. And that's how I'll know that you saw this part of the video and would like to enter. And then I'll just do a quick drawing and I'll send out a couple VHS tapes to you guys. I forget which ones they are. They're good. Don't worry. I didn't bring my phone down to remind myself. But well, they're good. Don't worry. They're. I think The Hills Have Eyes Part 2 is one of them. But just enter. Who cares? Enter and win some VHS tapes. Courtesy of Todd Burritt. Okay. We're going to get into Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 1, the original, right here on this Philips CRT, I think about a 27-inch or maybe even a 32-inch TV. We're going to do it. We're going to do it now. And I chose this again because it is just so easy to enjoy. And look, there are definitely movies that you watch once, like I don't know, Cabin in the Woods. Once you find out the big secret at the end and you're done. It's over. I won't watch Cabin in the Woods again. I won't need to. And there's definitely movies that you watch once and you're done with. Especially horror, if there's a twist or something like that at the end. But Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Child's Play, Poltergeist, boy, those are just at least once a year for me, and it never gets old. It never gets old. You always notice something, not necessarily new, but something more enjoyable, puts a different spin on it. And hopefully we'll talk about some of that stuff tonight. So let's get started with the Vintage Horror Night portion of the Vintage Horror Show. Let's dive in to Nightmare on Elm Street. See you when we're done. Oh, and before that, why don't you check out a few of my friends here? A couple little promos, little spots, little commercials, if you will. See you soon. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Yo Joe Outlet, your only source for G.I. Joe weapons and vehicle accessories. Don't have that incomplete Joe any longer. Connect with Yo Joe Outlet Center and complete that figure for an awesome price. Go check them out on eBay at Yo Joe Outlet Center and Facebook. Well, yes, there we have it. There we have it. Nightmare on Elm Street. What a concept. What a great concept. What a great movie. Great franchise? Yes, but I think for different reasons. I think more for nostalgic and fun reasons, I suppose. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1 is a standalone for me of the franchise. Part 2 a little bit as well. I mean, Part 2, I actually really like Part 1 and Part 2 almost the same. I think they're the two standalones, and then you have 3, 4, 5, and onward. And they get sillier and as they go on, and Freddy becomes more of a comic, comic relief sort of comedian-based dialogue and a lot of one-liners and stuff like that coming from Fred. But Part 1, man, oh man, it was awesome. It was awesome, and it never, ever, ever gets old. It's never a movie that gets old. Like I said, I notice new things. I pay attention to different things. And you've all seen it, so we're not going to go through the movie. But let's talk about the concept, right? Let's talk about the concept of why Nightmare on Elm Street worked in 1984 and why it was, now this is going to sound weird, but why it was a perfect horror movie for kids if you want to terrify them. Okay? Why is it a perfect horror movie for kids? Because it plays on our fears as kids, nightmares as children, and even as adults, but nightmares as children were terrifying. Right? You don't know what's happening. You're not, I mean, look, I saw this in like 85, so I'm 9 in 85. And, I had some pretty scary dreams. I remember a few still today. And so what a great idea to, and when we would wake up and we would scream. Well, actually, nobody ever does that. Nobody ever does that in the movies. Nobody, or in real life. Nobody ever jumps up from a dream and goes, "Ugh," and sits up in bed and they're all glistening with sweat. That never happens. I don't know where people created that just for movies. It never happens in real life. But when you get up from your dream and you call your mom and you say, I had a bad dream and, can I sleep with you? What's the first thing they tell you? It's only a dream. It's only a dream. Can't hurt you. And then Freddy Krueger comes along, right? And then Nightmare on Elm Street comes along. And then everything that we're told about dreams and nightmares goes out the window. Because dreams can hurt you, you see. And that's the concept of Nightmare on Elm Street. Not only can you get hurt in your dreams, but you can die in your dreams. And so, wow, now I'm going to feel a little differently when I go to bed at 9 or 10 years old about these nightmare things. Great movie. Great concept. And what's interesting is rewatching it and trying to notice some things so that I can talk about them with you. But Tina is our first, not just our first victim, but she's the first character that we see. We jump right into Nightmare on Elm Street, right in one of Tina's dreams. So as you're watching that, you're thinking, wow, Tina is the main character. Well, Tina's dead in like 15 more minutes, but we don't see Nancy until a little bit into the movie. And speaking of Tina's death, wow, 1984, and Tina, in one of the coolest scenes, is hacked, sliced, Krueger style, of course. But they couldn't just leave it at that. No, they had to drag her, bleeding and screaming, up the walls, up the ceiling, crashing down on the bed finally, in a pool of blood, while boyfriend Rod, jumps out the window and, of course, is accused of the murder of young Tina. 15-year-old Tina, which is, you catch that later on. Well, you catch that in like the next scene where, of course, the great John Saxon is getting briefed on the murder, and, 15-year-old girl. I mean, at least make her 17. I'm not buying Tina and Nancy and Johnny Depp, and especially Rod, are 15. I'm just not buying that. Okay? You're not looking 15 to me. You're not acting 15. Or maybe you are. But not in 1984. You might be acting like 2020 15. Anyway. Great stuff. We got again, the debut of Johnny Depp, as Nancy's boyfriend. We get Lin Shaye, from from the Insidious movies. And what's funny, another interesting little tidbit that I caught, after Nancy freaks out in the classroom, I mean literally goes nuts, screaming and thrashing around because she'd just woken up from a bad dream, which we'll talk about in a minute. Thrashing around the classroom, and the teacher comes through and calms her down, and Nancy says, I'm just gonna go home. And Lin Shaye, subtly says, you'll need a hall pass. I giggled at that, as Nancy's losing her mind, but you got to make sure we have a hall pass so that you can go home. I always noticed as a kid how fast you would fall asleep in these movies. And I always predicted when the person was dreaming. Like all you have to do in Nightmare on Elm Street is blink, and you're dreaming, right? Boom, you're in the middle. You're in the middle of your dream, and usually you're dreaming in the same setting that you fell asleep in, right? So Nancy falls asleep in the classroom, but she doesn't fall. She goes like this. Nancy goes like this, and boom, she's dreaming. And she's dreaming, she's in the classroom, and all the same students are there, and, so I always liked that as a kid, like, wow, I knew it. I knew she was dreaming because she blinked, and she fell asleep, that's it, she's dreaming, she's dead. It's cool how you bring your injuries out of your dream, so if you happen to survive an encounter with Krueger, but he gets his hands on you, you're going to come out with you're going to come out with a cut, or you're going to come out with a slashed nightgown, or his hat, as we see towards the end of this movie. Good stuff. The one and only, I think, scary Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know. I guess as a kid they were all pretty scary. I remember being scared by Dream Warriors and Dream Master. Part 2 I really liked. I think a lot of people dump on Part 2. I really liked it a lot. It was just a continuation with different characters. I liked it. What else did I want to talk about with Nightmare on Elm Street? One of my favorite scenes. Well, first of all, 1984. Again, I will always love movies from this era because of the scenery, because of the look of the actors and the school settings and the homes and the furniture and the hairstyles and the clothing and the cars. I mean, it's just, it's great. And there's one scene in particular that I just love the most, and it really captures the time. It's when Johnny Depp's character gets whacked. And before he falls asleep, he's laying up in his room, and he's got all these these music pinups and like posters on his wall. And, his room is just apparently a 15-year-old's room in 1984. And he's laying on his bed, and he's got like this little 13-inch TV, or even smaller. Sitting on his belly, right? He's laying on the bed. He's got the TV on his chest, and he's just watching TV. And I thought that was so good, and rings so true for that time. You didn't have 42-inch flat screen televisions hanging on your wall when you were a kid in 1984. My first television was a little 13-inch TV that if it was too far away from my bed, I would often pull the TV closer to me and sometimes just put it right next to my bed so that I could just stare right at it and watch TV at night. And Johnny Depp took it one step further and actually brought the TV into bed with him so that he could watch it. And again, I thought that was so cool. His room is like this perfect 80s bedroom, and he's just lounging, and it's like midnight, right? Super late. You're staying up real late, as a kid. Your mom comes and checks on you. She's got like, excuse me, she's got like a basket of laundry. She's still doing the laundry at midnight. And Johnny Depp is just jamming, I think MTV or like some horror movie, like some black and white horror movie was on. But for some, I thought I was catching like MTV on his TV, which is great. And then I think in part 2, he does a cameo. He does a "This Is Your Brain on Drugs" commercial. That might be part 2 or 3, but Johnny Depp does reappear in Nightmare on Elm Street later on, a little cameo. And then the movie ends in like, again, one of the scariest ways that you can actually bring your dreams out of your dreams. Okay, so the only way to kill Freddy Krueger is to kill him in real life. Well, how can you get this guy into real life? He's only in your dreams. Well, you have to capture him in your dreams, hold on to him, and then wake up. And once you do that, he's in the real world. He's got regular superpowers or regular human powers, or so we think. And so the kids conceptualize in Nightmare on Elm Street. We got to bring him out of our dreams, then we kill him. Well, obviously, that didn't work. But I really liked that. I really liked how, like towards the end, John Saxon, busts into the house. The house is on fire. There's fire footprints going up the stairs because Freddy's out of the dreams. He's impacting the real environment. And everybody sees him or believes Nancy for the first time. Really good scenes. A lot of really good scenes. The telephone scene where, Freddy says, "I'm your boyfriend now," and sticks his tongue out of the... That's great. Great stuff. She throws it on the bed. The phone melts. So good. So good and so terrifying. Again, because that's... Look, they really honed in on what we were afraid of, Dreams. And them actually hurting us. And again, like I said earlier, the "it's just a dream, it can't hurt you" logic that your mom and dad tell you, not true with this one. Not true at all. So good stuff. Nightmare on Elm Street. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. I know I did. We had some good eats. I have no idea what the next one's going to be about, but there's going to be a next one. And, thanks to my man Smash Ventura for that intro. Man, oh man, is that some professional stuff or what? Feeling like a real pro now because of Smash Ventura and his incredible talents. Thank you to Todd Burrett, who is donating some VHS tapes to you guys, part of the contest. Just mention in the comments that you're interested in the free giveaway VHS tapes, and I'll pull one of you randomly. Thanks to Corona Hard Seltzer for not sponsoring the channel. And that's all. So we'll see you all next time for Vintage Horror Night. And until then, boys and ghouls, see you in your dreams. Or whatever. And we're going to watch ourselves a movie. Probably in a minute. Once I find the right channel. Ah, there we are. Get that volume up.
VHS Vintage Horror Show. Jason. Intro and outro credits by Smash Ventura Productions. The new 80s revolution. Like, subscribe, and click the bell. Good night out there, whatever you are.